Hi, I'm Barb, Meeple PhD. I'm an astronomer and a gamer, which means that I see the universe in everything that I do, including board games. In this series, I am taking a look at the board game mechanisms as listed on Board Game Geek and seeing where I find them at work in the universe and the way that we study it. This time, I'm looking at the mechanism of action timer. This is a mechanism where the game has literal timers in the game where the players place them out to take actions, and then they can't move that timer until their piece until the time has run out. Often there aren't, set turns in the game, but players are just moving around their timers as they run out to take new actions. An example of a game that uses this is Kitchen Rush. In this game, players are using their little action timer guys to run a restaurant, to work together in order to serve various dishes to different customers. They're using their little action timers in order to collect ingredients, cook those dishes, and even wash the dishes so that they are ready for the next round. The idea of action timer in a game reminds me in astronomy of the coordination that has to happen in order to plan out the time for various telescopes and observatories. As you can imagine, astronomers often want data from many different telescopes and many different wavelengths of light, if they can, for the sources that they are studying. And so they put in proposals and ask for time. But then once the time is accepted by the various observatories, those observatories have to sit down and figure out how to plan out the time so that they can give it to as many different people as possible. But they have to consider, how much time does that researcher need and how much time do they request in order to get the data they need to get the information they want to find out about that source. When is that source in the sky? Is it always visible to this observatory, or is it only visible during certain parts of the year or certain parts of the day? Does this telescope operate 24/7, or is it only operating during the nighttime hours? There are a lot of different considerations that go into this. And then sometimes researchers want to try and coordinate observations so that the different telescopes are looking at an object at the same time, because maybe the object changes a lot and they want to make sure that they're comparing apples to apples observations from the different telescopes instead of trying to figure out what the differences are if it looked at one object today and the next one in 2 months. And so all of this is like a big puzzle in front of these planners, trying to figure out how to make sure that each researcher gets the time that they've been promised, but also coordinating with other telescopes if there's some overlapping time, and making room for some of those unexpected things that happen in the universe. So the next time you're playing a game with an action timer, pretend for just a second that instead of washing the dishes or whatever it is your little action guys are doing, instead they are trying to plan out an amazing campaign to watch the night skies. Thanks for joining me. That's it for this time. If you have any questions about the science or the game that I mentioned, leave them in the comments below. I'm going to continue this random walk through the Board Game Geek mechanisms, so please feel free to like and subscribe to my channel so you know when those new videos come out. Otherwise, you can follow me on Instagram and Blue Sky as Meeple PhD, and I have a blog at meeplephd.com. We'll see you next time.